And we are live, and the doors of the Sanctum have been unlocked and open for the week. And welcome everyone to the Sanctum Sanctorum. I am your illustrious host, Widow's Son, and with me, as always, are my two awesome co-hosts, Dr. Cyrus Oblivion and the Wanderer. We are back on a Saturday edition, which it's good to be back on a kind of a, I guess, a regular, a pseudo-regular day, every once in a while. I don't quite know how to put that shit, but whatever. So right now, before we get started, I just want to make a couple of announcements. Now, we will be doing a show on the 28th, which will be coming up in a couple of weeks. But now, and I'll need to confirm with Doc and Wanderer. I'm not sure if Doc can be there, but right now, planning on trying to do another episode for next week on Tuesday. So Tuesday, if we can get that all worked out, would be at the normal time. Just watch the channel for the reminder. Also, once again, on the 28th, I'm in the works of trying to see if we can get a guest on that day, and or guest or guests plural, but that is still being worked out, which I'm really excited to announce who I'm working on to come on either on the 28th or hopefully sometime in December, depending on their availability. But I'm not going to get into that right now. Wanderer and Doc know who I'm speaking of, but as of right now, we are going to keep that little secret between the three of us. So once we can get everything locked down, then we'll be making that announcement. So everybody just kind of stay tuned and be sitting on the edge of your seat, I guess you could say. Guys, how are y'all doing?
I'm good.
I'll let Doc go first.
Oh yeah, I've been good. Still getting settled into my new place. Just been doing some reading, enjoying living alone again. Because don't get me wrong, I enjoyed having roommates. My last roommate was definitely the best one I've ever had. I mean, he was a cool guy. He got married, and he and his wife are now doing very well together.
Oh, you mean they wouldn't adopt you?
No.
Did you try at least?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to convince him. I wore a diaper and baby bib and rattle and bonnet and everything, and had a pacifier in my mouth.
God fucking damn it! Someone take them, please. Someone take them.
You frightened Wanderer.
No, it's really funny.
I reacted in agony. That was in pure agony. I want Doc to become adopted.
Oh my gosh! So I make that joke, but there was a senator a while back who, about 10 years ago, who got busted in probably one of the most absurd sex scandals. He was caught. He was like this family values guy, and he was caught in a hotel with a prostitute, and he was dressed up as a baby.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It was so funny when I heard about that. Like, I just could not stop laughing. And he still got reelected. That's the best. I don't know which is worse. The fact he got reelected,
He's right. Weird kinks, man. Weird kinks. People are starting to pile in. Vacuum's here. Dumpkey's here. Let's see. Sterno's here. So slowly building up the chat here, and we're waiting for a few others to appear. I just, did you really have to go all out and say you were wearing a diaper and all of that? Because honestly, dude, that's
my
just
proposition as senator for this state in the great nation of the United States of the America is that to legalize that of wearing diapers out in public and it not being classed as public indecency.
Well, you can wear diapers out in public as long as they're under your clothes or you're an infant. But, just to walk around. Let's stop talking about this, okay? Let's just no. I mean, I was more concerned about being Doc being homeless, you know, and figuring that a friend of his that is newly married, I figured that they would have attempted to adopt him was my whole thing. I just didn't think that he
No
was
one
going to.
wants me, man.
I cannot believe this.
We love you. We love
You
you.
may love me, but you don't want me.
Dude, I rented out like a little sewer. Like you could go live there if you want. I'm paying like 2 shekels an hour.
You can go
Just
live in
go
the
walk
sewer.
and everything. That's why. Prepaid. It's all
You can go-
good. I'll handle the payments.
You can go
No,
live in
Doc
the.
is, so no Anglicism. No, Doc is not homeless. Doc has an apartment. He's loving it. I'm actually liking this apartment like better than any other place I've lived because it's my space, not the defunct website, but
I was about to say MySpace died years ago.
it's my actual space, and I get to make it my own. Trying to figure out what to do with some of this extra space. I've got to buy a bookshelf to put some things up. Might get a Slayer poster just so that way, or have a poster of all the big four thrash metal bands all up. So that way, when like Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons show up, I can really scare them.
No, just put an inverted cross on your front door.
Well, it's funny you say that. I got a friend.
That segue was just great. Well, it's funny that you mentioned inverted crosses,
Because my friend, my friend, my buddy old pal.
So one of my friends, he had a Halloween party at his house, and he had a pentagram made out of purple Christmas tree lights.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
Everything was still set up for the party, and there was a knocking early on his door on an early Saturday morning, and it turned out it was Jehovah's Witnesses. So he lit the candles and turned the pentagram on and opened the door wide enough for them to see it. And he was just standing there in this pose like he was commanding the candles to light up. And he said the look of horror on their faces made them leave and never come back.
I was going to say, man, easiest way to get Jehovah's Witnesses to not come back to your front door, just answer the door naked.
Well, I thought about doing.
He thought about doing that.
No, what I thought about doing was inviting them in and be like, "Hey, does anybody want anything to drink?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll take. Anybody want some water? Yeah, sure, we'll take some water." So I pour them some water, but I bring out 3 empty glasses, and then I just start drinking out of my empty glass, and then start yelling at kids that aren't even there, and just start, really messing with them. Like, holy crap, this guy is nuts.
Oh no! What you should do is mix up some corn syrup and red food coloring, and when you offer them something to drink, pour just 1 glass of it, and just make it look like the fake blood that they used in Carrie.
You know what you should do? Oh my god, you should open the door and hold like a notepad or something, and then do the postal 2 thing where you're going, "Would you like to sign my petition?" Oh, I like honestly the thought of like getting an apartment for myself is quite comforting. A couple of Fallout and Star Wars posters on the wall, maybe a couple of Remo Drive posters and shit like that. An M60 machine gun mounted at the front door, just in case any trespassers come.
Another way to get rid of Jehovah's Witnesses is the way us Germans got rid of them.
Oh my fucking god! Oh my god!
Just
anybody up into this.
Just wear a gimp suit and then open the door.
Or you could open it up in a Speedo as well, or like just be wearing a
power armor.
Or dress up as Borat, wearing that like lime green mankini that he did.
This is my home. Entry, please.
So speaking of Borat, did y'all see the new Borat movie on Amazon?
No, I haven't been able to see it yet.
So, in some ways, I actually think it's funnier than the original that they did. But the one thing I liked about the original is he trolled everyone. Like, no matter what their political persuasion was, everybody was fair game. And in this one, he mostly does absurdities to conservatives and Republicans. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's to really get them. And I'm like, well, if you're supposed to be this equal opportunity offender and you're only going after one side, then you're not really an equal opportunity offender. You're just dogpiling on bullying somebody with different political persuasions because it's the popular thing to do. There's nothing revolutionary in that. But but some of the stuff so the girl that they have that plays his daughter, she, I think, is probably funnier than Sacha Baron Cohen, because the stuff that she does has people in this movie going, holy crap. I mean, just the looks of shock and horror, especially at the debutante ball, and that's all I'm going to say on it. I'm not going to spoil it, but that one had me, like, hurting. I was laughing so hard.
Didn't he, like, dress up as a Klansman in this one?
He did.
Or was that in the last one?
No, he did. He showed up at CPAC dressed up as a Klansman, and they showed the reactions of people there. And people were just furious and not happy about it. And they were mad. And I'm going, why didn't someone punch him? Because that's what I would have done. If I'd been there and seen that, I would just punched him or kicked him really hard, because, where Widow and I grew up, we grew up where it was kind of no longer a hotbed of that activity in our youth, but there is a history of it, like in the 1960s and earlier. It was crazy for that type of crap. And so whenever I see someone wearing a Klansman robe, my first instinct, beat the crap out of him. Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to tolerate that. It's just something I absolutely abhor. It's something I absolutely hate. And I kind of feel like, being from the South, and especially a state of the South where that was such a problem, I feel like it's my duty every time I see that to be one of the most vocal opponents of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, before you came into the studio, I was actually explaining Southern cooking to Wanderer, because he was because you were talking about you do the Uber Eats stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he had KFC delivered to his house, and I told him, I'm like, man, you honestly haven't lived until you have actually had fried chicken, not cooked in a deep fryer, but in a cast iron skillet. And that's a lot of Southern cooking is done in cast iron. Fried chicken, cornbread, pork chops. I've even like a steak, like a nice thick cut steak cooked in a cast iron skillet. Now, and it's good. I prefer to grill my steaks, but having it cooked in the cast iron is unreal, man. It really, really is.
What you can do with the cast iron, if you're because I like to bake.
And see, that's exactly, Faith, that's exactly what I told Wanderer. He hasn't lived until he's had some good old Southern cooking.
But what I like to do...
My human rights do not exist until I have eaten Southern fried chicken.
That is true.
That's very, very true.
My human rights do not currently exist.
we will revoke your card until you actually have some Southern fried chicken.
Holy crap, I just got a really good business idea. Seriously, hear me out on this.
If it involves dressing up in a diaper and a bonnet and a rattle, I don't want to hear it.
No, this time it doesn't.
This time.
Maybe it will next time, though.
No, I think what I'm going to do is one of the first businesses I invest in and create in Europe is a Southern food Southern United States food restaurant where it cooks authentic food from the South in that style for people.
Honestly, I think that could go over like really big over in England, man.
Oh, it would go big in England. It would go big in France, because one thing that a lot of the French people would do is they love to hate on, food that is outside their norm. From what I've been able to gather, I can't really speak to this because I haven't had much dealings with French, but I know that they are very proud of their food heritage, when they do have every right to be. But it would be one of those things they would love to hate on it, but yet we would sell out every night,
Well, the only thing that would be really difficult to get is catfish.
Oh yeah, but they're
catfish would have to be something like you did periodically, because if you're going to open a restaurant like that, like especially like a Southern cooking soul food style place, fried catfish is going to have to be one of your cornerstones. But because they're over in Europe, it's going to be a little more difficult to get it, because you'd actually have to have it shipped from the U.S. over there to have it. So,
and that's what I'm thinking. So here's what I'm thinking about that in that regard. Especially with France and England, you have Western Christianity. That's where it's very predominant, obviously. And they go through Lent. Set it up where you have a fish fry every Friday during Lent. It's only 6 weeks. And you're like, here you go. And that's the only time you do that.
The South is a hoax made up by the government to be able to LARP a civil war.
It's true.
But no, hang on. I'm going to bring Faith's comment back up here just real quick. Fried chicken, biscuits and gravy, grits, banana pudding, and dressing, not stuffing. That's exactly correct.
Yeah, stuffing is a Yankee thing, and it is an abomination when it comes to the South.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and it's like I was telling Wanderer, he should tell his mom to get a cast iron skillet, but remember, you don't wash it. Soap never touches a cast iron skillet. You can rinse it out and wipe it out, but do not put soap in a cast iron skillet. Ever.
Soap chicken.
Well, it ruins because cast iron has to be seasoned, basically, like in order. Cause I was watching something not too long ago that was saying, like, when you get a new cast iron skillet, what you should do is pour some oil into it.
And let it sit.
No, not let it sit. Actually, pour oil into the cast iron and put the cast iron in the oven for maybe 20 minutes at like 350 or 400, and then take it out, let it cool, pour the oil out, and then wipe it out, and your cast iron is going to be already seasoned for you. But then, of course, the longer you use it, because honestly, growing up around here, you could have like multiple cast iron skillets, but you only bought like the really big one. That's the only one you ever needed forever. Unless like somehow it magically just fell apart one day in your hand, you only had to buy the one pretty much forever. Because and cooking in it, that's, hang on, what's Faith saying? Making sure you don't say... So saying the G's, you're Southern.
I'm sorry, I have to say the G's in it, Southern cooking, because I have tried my entire life to not sound like I come from the South.
Never wash cast iron in water.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, you don't wash it. You actually just you pour out like the grease or whatever. You can run a little bit of water into it enough to wipe it out, but that's all you do. You never put soap in it.
Yeah, and whenever you are dealing with cast iron skillet, the best thing to do when you're done with your meal is to just put it in the dishwasher immediately and put it on the hottest cycle you could find, because you got to get all that grime off of it.
What, the cast iron?
Oh, you got to get all that grime off of it, man.
That's why you wipe it out.
No, I'm just trying to mess with Faith over here.
Oh,
Dog,
I think
bro. Holy
What?
shit! Why is this in a goddamn? All right, so I'm scrolling through Facebook right now, and I'm in a Fallout group. For some reason, this dude has posted a bunch of like Fallout Equestria shit, which is basically My Little Pony but for Fallout. Why does this exist? I don't know. Why did Degeneres post it? I don't know. But I didn't want to see this on my timeline, dude. What the fuck is this?
well, you make it sound like he's made pictures of, like, well, I'm not even going to finish that sentence.
Dude, it sounds like it's brony jacking. Like, that sounds really bad the way I just said that. Holy crap.
Yes, it does.
Holy crap. I did not. Okay, so in some of the threads I'm in, they call it mommy jacking when a mom
Just
posts a picture of her kid. No, she
just-
posts a picture of her
just
kid.
stop
her kid.
talking, son.
Let me continue talking here. When she posts a picture of her kid, talks about her kid in a group that's completely unrelated to it. So, like, they would say it's mommy jacking if in a Fallout forum if she posted a picture of her kid and it's completely unrelated to Fallout. And so what I was referring to is, it's not related to Fallout and they're putting brony stuff up there. But I just realized how bad it sounded the way I said that. It doesn't sound as bad when you're reading it, but when you hear yourself saying it, it sounds really bad.
It sounds bad any way you slice it.
Yeah, it sounds like something.
Fallout New Vegas, unexpected friends. Oh my god, this is bad. What? This is bad.
Then stop looking at it.
I'm scrolling through this dude's post. Tim, whatever the fuck your name is, dude. Stop this shit, dude. You've gone too far. You've gone too far, dude. I am not a brony.
No one accused you of being one.
Peanut did. Peanut accused me in chat of being a brony. That is fake
Oh.
news. You are fake news. That's fake news, Donald Trump. This right here, the definition of slander. But man, holy god, my eyes are scarred, dude. I just returned and everyone is claiming that water is a brony. That's amazing.
He hides it really, really well.
What can I say? You can't see my. Maybe if I lift up the helmet, I've just got like a leather face type thing on my face, which is made out of. It's made out of humans, and it's just in the shape of like one of the My Little Pony characters. Who knows?
Oh, and congratulations to you, Wander, on doing that first test stream the other day. I'm glad I was able to hop in for a little while.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was well, I did an Among Us one yesterday, and it fucking fried my computer. Mainly because the Wi-Fi over here is terrible. We're getting it fixed on Wednesday. But yeah, it was taxing. Let's just say I had to leave my laptop for a good few hours to let it cool down. But the test stream went really well. I think it's just when I play games and stuff, just it craps its pants.
So, how are you doing, Wanderer? We haven't really heard how you're doing.
I'm trying to figure out
I'm
this comment. I'm trying to figure out this comment from Sterno.
I don't know what that means.
What is tartaletter?
It is probably a Danish delicacy, probably. I don't know. Either way, I'm doing pretty all right. I mean, I finished my maths exams, feeling pretty good about it. Hopefully, I'll pass this time. With that, I've actually managed to find a little bit more free time, especially with the game. We're working on a new game project, and it's quite ambitious. So all I've got to do is finish off some storyboarding, some story stuff, some dialogue, and some concept art, and then we should be good to go.
Okay.
But I managed to pick up some free time over the weekend. I started playing my guitar again. So
Oh, cool.
He's gonna start learning some typo songs on the guitar so he can serenade the Wanderer with them.
I
Yeah,
would be so
Typo is
fucking down to learn some typo.
Yeah, I hate that Peter Steele is dead, man. He
Dude,
Yeah,
speaking of Peter Steele, I started watching a bunch of like montages of him. Spoke about this on my stream the other day, but my favorite one was when I think he was on Jerry Springer or something, and he walks out and then they're talking about how many like women are just like lusting after him and shit, and if he actually does anything, he's like, I'm a hyphen on that. That made me laugh.
Well, I thought what they did for the video for I Don't Want to Be Me with Dan Fogler was one of the funniest things that happened in the early 2000s.
Did you watch that After Dark video of them that I sent to you, Wanderer?
Let me see.
It was like
I don't think
their home. It was like their home video kind of thing.
Let me see. I don't think I did because I can't quite remember it. But
I'll hang on. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you again. And when you were talking about that on when you were talking about that, that's like the collection of like different things that he has done that you had been watching. That immediately made me think of that. These are some of the things that both myself and the other hippies in my band dislike about festivals. Like that, honestly, that's one of the. I just like how it says that it's just like myself and the other hippies in my band. I'm like, okay.
I like the one where he starts sweeping the stage for Pantera. That's funny.
Oh yeah. See, one thing about Pantera and Typo Negative is they were really, really good friends. Like they were all really, really close. And I know that. All right, I'm about to send it to you. And I know that when Peter died, that that hit all of them, really, really hard. Because that's one thing. That's one thing like you'll see on this. All right, I just sent it to you.
Yeah.
All right. Definitely watch that. That's got their music videos in it. Like you'll see like the shorter version of the Christian Woman. There's a shorter version of the Christian Woman music video, but the longer version of it where you've got Christian Woman, and then it goes directly into Jesus Christ Looks Like Me. But it like the rest of it's pretty cool, and you'll see Phil from Pantera in it. One of the shots that he's in is him and Josh, the keyboard player. And they were actually talking about October Rust, and Josh was sitting there with Phil, and Phil just goes, he's like October Rust. It's the name of the new Typo Negative LP. He's like, Be My Druidess. Like he sounded really confused, and then Josh was just like, "Yo, Phil, fuck you." He's like, "What? What did I do? God damn it!" He's like, "I love it and shit," and it's really funny to watch. But yeah, definitely watch that. It's God, I remember when that video actually came out. Like I actually had a copy on VHS at one point, and Lord knows what happened to it.
Man, so a lot of people, what I thought was really cool is a lot of people didn't realize this, but when Peter Steele died, he had converted to Catholicism and was a devout Catholic at that point, like going to mass every week and just really took his faith seriously.
That's such like a drastic character change compared to the music.
Well, you know who
in
else
my
is
opinion.
Well, you know who else is a devout Catholic, and people will be surprised to find this out. I know Widow knows this.
Tom Herrera.
Yep, Tom Araya of Slayer is a devout Catholic.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How many of these dudes are just like devout Catholics? We're gonna find out. Like, I don't know. The guys from Paul Bearer all come out as devout Catholics next.
Well, honestly, I've been surprised at finding out who was actually like Christian. Like, I found out that Alice Cooper was a devout Christian, and I'm like, what?
Well, he's good friends with R.C. Sproul, or when R.C. Sproul was alive. R.C. Sproul was a Christian writer and wrote a lot about theology, and so he and Alice Cooper were like good buddies.
And right, but I mean, that's just something you didn't expect to hear about Alice Cooper, and then
Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, he's a devout Christian now.
And it might surprise people to know that Stryper are Christians as well too.
Well, yeah, but
Stryper's still one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, I've always questioned a lot of your tastes anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Doc, you're gonna be so happy to hear this. I found out one of my friends from college listens to Panther.
Yes. What does he say about it?
He says they're really fucking good. He also listens to Misfits. He listens to Pantera. I've got him into Remo Driver a little bit. I played him a little bit of their demo tapes, and he really liked it. And then I'm also going to try and get him into Typo as well, because he's never heard Typo.
Oh wow! You should You should play Paul Bearer for him too.
Well,
I think he'd like Paul Bearer.
See, one thing
That's a good shout.
One thing I'll say about Typo is they were way ahead of their time.
Well,
they were
kind of, but I mean, you have to if you're talking about like the whole goth style and everything, you're right, but you're wrong at the same time, because you're forgetting about bands like Sisters of Mercy and The Cure at one point.
The Cure are good.
But the reason why I'm saying that is that Typo was like they were the goth metal scene. They kind of, it's like what was it? Marilyn Manson gets a lot of the credit for it, but realistically, he wasn't the first one on the scene.
No, Marilyn Manson was shock rock.
Exactly. He really wasn't goth. I mean, when you look at a lot of the goth rock that came later, because I don't even think Marilyn Manson would have called himself goth.
But honestly, I haven't really heard any music that's very similar to Typo before. I'd say Paul Bearer are similar but different, and I do feel like if I was to look into Paul Bearer, I would guarantee that I'd probably find somewhere that they took inspirations from Typo a little bit, because I do see some of Typo in their music, but it's very vague. You know what I mean? I
can kind of see it, but I would probably have to. I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of groove metal inspired by that, especially like a lot of doom stuff, like Sabbath, Pentagram, fucking Witchfinder General, Trouble, those early Melvins albums, and the B-side to Black Flag's My War, and stuff like that, like but definitely but the whole, but there were a lot of like and a lot of these, like what they call now, like emo bands, um, the ones that were throwing on like the black makeup and the hair and the fingernail painting and all this, I'm like, you do realize that you're not the first ones to do this. And the people that were doing it before you actually were way better at it than you'll ever be. Like like bands like My Chemical Romance, Jesus fucking Christ.
They suck, in my opinion.
Oh,
They do suck.
They suck. They suck balls. That's one of the most like fucking most wretched bands I'd ever listened to. And like an ex-girlfriend of mine was really, really into them. Like when I first heard the name of the band, My Chemical Romance, I was like, huh. That now I'll give them credit. That's pretty bitchin' band name. Because you think it's going to be something, it's going to be like, something like drug induced or, whatever. And then it just turns out it's just this.
No, I will say one band that's probably worse than My Chemical Romance is Family Force 5.
Never heard of them.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of them either.
So before I became a business analyst, I was working at another place as a sysadmin. Family Force 5 was a client of ours.
Guys, keep it up. I'll be right back.
And one of their videos, you can check out the video for Love Addict by Family Force 5. And oh my gosh, they are annoying. I absolutely hate that.
Annoying. Really?
They're awful.
I feel like it's the same with the. Yeah, I feel like it's the same with the Wombats for me. Like the Wombats, that vocalist sucks so bad.
Oh man, their vocalist. I mean, I think I would rather hear an animal dying than hear their vocalist.
Honestly,
I mean, just
that's what really threw me off. I think it was an album or an EP, and my girlfriend really liked it, so I was like, oh yeah, let me just listen to this. And I just I couldn't get into it. I added the entire album to my goddamn playlist, and I removed it almost a week later because every time I'm on, like the vocalist would just completely destroy the song for me.
Oh, the Ting Tings is another band for me that's like that. They came out in the early 2000s, and you could not get away from them. And I was just like, I hate this band. I absolutely hate them. They're awful. And everybody's like, well, they write catchy music. It's like, doesn't mean it's good, dummy.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that most modern day rap, like 6ix9ine and shit like that, it's catchy. It doesn't make good.
Yeah. That's so funny. Is every time someone says 6ix9ine, I'm just thinking like, man, that guy was facing such a long prison sentence, and he ratted everybody
I
out.
swear, dude, I swear he was facing some pedo shit.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. I remember something along those lines, and it's just kind of like, it's kind of like, dude, you can't, like, I don't buy the whole thing of snitches get stitches, because I'm one of those guys, like, going down, it makes one direction go the other direction. I'm one of those guys, like, if I'm going down and other people are involved, yeah, you're coming down with me, that type of thing. I'm like, no, I'm gonna nuclear blast the whole thing, But
I think also with the saying snitches get stitches as well. I think there's such a good feeling about watching those put you in a situation where you feel like blackmail and shit, just rot in prison. I think that's such a good feeling. My girlfriend called you a whore, and that's why you're mad. Anglicism. That actually happened. That's a true story.
Yeah, you were telling us about that a while back. I think he's just trying to consistently just keep rubbing salt into the wound.
Oh
god. Oh my god.
That's a good one.
Dude. Lil Danish man removed from chat. Holy God. Rage Ace destroys up and coming SoundCloud rap. Oh my God. We got him.
Well, so what cracks me up about some of these SoundCloud rappers that you see is there was one time, like when you had the pandemic going on and you had a lot of college students who went to Florida for spring break. And this one guy was interviewed. He's like, well, if I get it, I get it. And Philip DeFranco made the comment. He goes, yeah, this guy looks like – he was trying to insult the guy. He said, yeah, this guy looks like he's a mediocre SoundCloud rapper. And it turned out the guy really was, at best, a mediocre SoundCloud rapper.
Oh my God, dude. I actually remember that as well. Like, that guy needs a swift punch in the don't want to say the throat, but maybe the jaw.
Yeah, he was when I heard that, I was like, well, that's one of the things that got me about this. So many people are like, well, if I get it, I get it. I'm like, okay, genius, this is not like any other infection or any other disease. If you get this disease, you could have it for up to 2 weeks and infect innocent people with it. It is not if I get it, I get it. It's if I get it, I hope I didn't infect anyone else that could kill them, because I don't want to have a hand.
And also, if you're actively taking precautions to stop yourself from getting the virus, like wearing masks, like cleansing your hands and shit like that, if you're actively taking precautions like that, you're also saving the healthcare like workers and shit like that a lot of work and time and effort that they are having to put the people who are on their bloody deathbeds because of this virus. So consider it that way as well, especially when Americans don't have free healthcare right now. Whereas we do, although we're severely underwhelmed with what we have because our government has just been slowly like corrupting and just kind of, taking away shit from the NHS.
Yeah. So one thing I think is going to fix that could potentially fix a lot of that stuff, a lot of the slowdowns, is when they start converting some of the processing to AI and other, and machine learning, neural net learning. A lot of people just kind of think, oh my gosh, it's going to be a Skynet situation. It's like, no, it cannot become a Skynet situation. It's not going to become a Skynet situation. What's happening is you look at a lot of healthcare systems right now, they're being overwhelmed. And a lot of it is because there's just a lot of tedious work and somebody is sitting behind a computer screen having to click, 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 and they're having to look for unique cases. Well, if you notice, most of the cases are fitting a pattern. You can do machine learning to look for those patterns and go, okay, if it fits this pattern, we file it this way. If it fits this pattern, if it fits this pattern, if it doesn't match any of these criteria, it goes straight to a queue. And that way, the cases that do need human eyes are the ones getting human eyes, and they're not getting passed over, and it'll speed up the process that much faster. Because like one of the things here in this country that we experience is, if you look at the cost of medical treatment, the costs are actually grossly inflated because the doctors and medical organizations are all having to negotiate with the insurers what they're going to pay. So that's why you can keep getting a bill for 6 months to a year on something that your insurance was supposed to cover. And a lot of times insurers, they will look for any reason to not cover you, but yet you still have to keep paying them. It's like, well, I'm paying you to cover this. Well, you didn't check this box here. Okay, so let me see the paperwork back and I'll check the box. Well, no, you can't do that. You got to fill out all new paperwork. Okay, so I got to fill out all new paperwork. Stay on the phone while I.
Hey, Cadenza's here. Hey, how's it going, my man?
It's like,
rest in peace, my dude.
It's like, let me fill out this paper. You stay on the phone while I fill out this paperwork, and they go, well, we can't do that. Okay, so you're the one telling me I have to fill this out. You know how it should be filled out, but yet you're not going to stay on the phone and help me fill it out. Because if this happens again, I'm just going to keep bugging you till this gets worked out. So you either help me or your coworkers start complaining about me around the water cooler. Doesn't matter to me either way.
Well, I think everybody
Dude.
complains about you around the water cooler there, Doc.
Well, that is true, but that would be more people
I've
complaining.
created a masterpiece. iPhone hot dog. It's iPhone hot dog. Like, look at this.
What is
Oh
It's an
my
eye
God.
dog. It's an eye dog.
I rate this while my camera's on. Actually, let me go. You guys are gonna love this. I have like 2 guitars. Actually, I have like 4. 2 of them are acoustic. 2 of them are electric. They're all fairly cheap. So don't expect anything flashy. But there is one that looks like super fucking cool, and you'll like it. So I'll be back.
Start looking into fan frets, like what they call.
He took his headset off, dude. He can't hear you.
Well, I'm telling the audience that. Yes.
Whoa! That looks like a. That looks.
That's a Warwick, I think.
It looks similar to a BC Rich Warlock.
Hey, is that a Wanderer? Is that guitar
Is that a BC Rich?
It's a Washburn BC1.
No, it's known as the Harlem X. Basically, it's like an 100 quid guitar that I got for school a while ago, and I just thought it looked so fucking cool. I need to get my hands on it.
It looks similar to a BC Rich Warlock.
So
they take a bunch of like designs and shit. The place I got it from is called Gear for Music. It's basically just a place for like students and shit like that who need a cheap kind of instrument, especially when you're like a learner. They're pretty damn good. The E string on that one needs a bit of work, because I tried looking this up on how to fix it, but I don't know if you can hear this. But by the way, if it sounds weird, I think it's because I'm tuned to drop D right now. But like, if you can hear this like a little rattle, and I'm not quite sure how to fix it. It's definitely not a fret issue. I've looked at the frets. I think it might be an issue with the what's it called?
It's either the nut or the saddle.
It might be. That's the one. The nut or the saddle. I'm not quite sure how to go about fixing them though. I might need to take it into a guitar shop.
Yeah, that would be the easier thing to do. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you could really mess it up and wind up needing a new bridge. So just take it in and let them figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Dumpkey can fix it. Nice. I'll send it over to Spain to get it fixed.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not quite sure, because it's been an issue since I got it, I think, and then I didn't realize that it was so bad until I think one day I was like, "What the fuck is that?" No, I was playing it.
So, funny story about BC Rich Warlock bass. I knew a guy who bought one because he thought it was cool, and then they asked him to play bass in his church band. So he's standing up on stage at his church playing this BC Rich Warlock.
Oh my god. That's so funny. He's just sitting there in a church with like some fucking like machine of a goddamn instrument.
No,
and then the rest of them just got like plain ass like instruments, and then he's just got a BC Rich.
No, what would have been funny is if he had actually like walked in that day and he had like on, like a bullet belt and some black jeans and like a Mayhem or a Bathory shirt with the sleeves cut off, and his guitar strap was like a chain, and that would have made it a lot more fun for me.
And he had a long black hair.
Yeah, and just got some like fake blood from like Halloween and just put like an inverted cross on his forehead. That'd have been great.
Oh my god! Did he get kicked out? The forces of the cathedral security guards will kick your ass if you do that. Dude, I just realized, where the fuck is Bong?
I don't know. I was wondering that myself. Doc, are you cooking again?
No, I'm already cooked. I'm just grabbing my pizza.
Let's go. It is time on the Sanctum once again.
Doc, you missed a good show when Burnt Toast was on last time.
Oh yeah, I hate that. I missed it, man.
Have you listened to it yet?
No, yeah, I need to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, we are. Wanderer is going to be designing a ranch bed.
Oh,
Got that cool ranch original, like fucking.
No, you were
bed
no
to
you
sleep
no
in.
it was the mayonnaise bed. You had the mayonnaise
Oh
bed.
yeah, the Hellman's original mayonnaise bed, and it is sleep. And you can go. Oh my god, he's there. Wait, we've been missing the messages. What the fuck?
In a giant jar?
Yeah, like isn't it like it's just a bed covered in mayonnaise, like just by the
That sounds like a punishment.
mayonnaise. it's a real smelly kind of thing to lie on.
I absolutely hate mayonnaise, man.
I hate
I love
mayonnaise.
mayonnaise.
It's only good in like it's good in the McDonald's burgers, and that's it.
No, you were posting what was that McChicken picture you were posting on Twitter a couple of days ago? And I just went and found this GIF of this guy just holding a jar and he was yelling mayonnaise.
Dear Democrats, now I'm gonna consume this McChicken. It's so good. I found a really another good one as well. It's like, wake up, liberal. I said, wake up, sleepyhead. I made you. I made you breakfast. I love you. He's got really like aggressive, like fucking metal music in the background. It's like, wake up, liberal. I said, wake up, sleepyhead. I made you breakfast. I love you. It's got a Blue Lives Matter skull background. It's so good. I need to go back and grab that soon. Oh man, that is funny. I found another good video recently. It was basically it was this dude at some sort of store, like a supermarket, and he got hit over by a shopping trolley. It was accompanied by the text vehicular manslaughter. And I was crying like a solid 20 minutes at this in college, and everybody's just looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? It was so good.
You're just laughing to yourself and it's like, man, that got crazy.
Dude, I'm gonna somebody through Discord DMs.
Okay,
And you'll like to laugh or like be incredibly disappointed.
So last night, speaking of vehicular manslaughter, nobody was killed.
Oh my fucking
Wow.
Nobody was killed. But at my apartment complex, the gas station that I can go to, I can just walk to. It's not even like a minute or two walk from where I live. Maybe 5 minutes tops. And so I'm at the gas station picking up some drinks, and so I can come back here and eat last night.
Some drinks and some diapers and
yeah. Cop just goes flying down the road, sirens and lights flashing. Are like, okay, what happened? So I finally get back and go to pull into my apartment or pull into the area where my building is. Half the cops in my town are there. And I'm like, what is going on? Apparently, so I asked this guy what had happened, and he didn't know when I was pulling my car in, but then when I walked back up to him, he was like, well, a guy heard on the scanner that someone did a hit and run on a pedestrian, and then instead of they fled, but not in their car, they fled on foot and then tried to hide in the bushes.
Oh my god.
In the area, and I'm like, that is a hit and run is dumb. It's even dumber if it's with a pedestrian. But this is this takes the cake for a degree of stupidity,
Yeah. Hiding in the bush. That's like something you do on GTA after shooting a bunch of pedestrians, and then getting like 4 stars or something, hiding from the police and shit. Like, dude, that's some GTA level shit.
Yeah. This guy's like, oh, I'm in GTA. Let me hide in the bushes or go change my car's color.
They will never find me.
Nobody can find me while I'm in my bush fort.
I made you breakfast. I love this video. I'm gonna.
Do you need to be alone for a while, Wanderer?
No, it's good. I was just I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go get this video back. So I went back and screen recorded the funny, and I'm gonna drop it in your DM soon.
Okay.
But wake up, liberal. I said, wake up, sleepyhead. I made you breakfast. I love you.
It just like reminds me of that scene in Idiocracy. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Like honestly, if I was a greeter somewhere at a store, I would have to do that. I just be like, "Welcome to Sam's Club. I love you. Welcome to Sam's Club. I love you. Welcome." Just over and over again, just to see if anyone would know the reference that I was making. Number one, but number two, just to see people's reaction.
Oh, yeah, I've actually had a really funny idea earlier this week. Basically, in my past, like I've encountered a lot from people with the name Wanderer or like the Wanderer on like live, on the internet and stuff. Mainly because like it's such like a thing that's related to Fallout that is quite common that people. So I've had a really funny idea that what I could do to troll these guys for stealing my name. I could go, well, you see, that's where you're wrong. I am not the Wanderer. You're Mr. Wanderer. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? Only big spoon. Sterno, we don't say that word here. That is.
Oh, hey, now, Sterno, like we all joke and everything around here, but come on now, come on.
It's only a spoonful of hot mayonnaise. In the mouth, it go yum yum.
Did you just
imagine that? Like,
did you just say you're gonna eat a big spoonful of mayonnaise?
Yeah, I will do that for my 1,000 subscribers special. I will just take like a tub of mayonnaise and vow that I'm gonna eat the entirety of the thing with no toilet breaks, no vomiting breaks or anything. I'm just gonna eat Hellman's original mayonnaise out the jar with a spoon.
No.
I will do it.
I like mayonnaise, but not enough to like sit and watch some. But I won't be there. Sorry,
The Nutella trench. Have you seen the really obese dude that eating like a full tub of like Nutella with no hands? Yeah, dude. Oh god, it's so like thick and awful.
Nope, I am not.
Stuff
I'm
when
not
you
along
eat
that.
on
Wait, what?
I was just saying, like, someone eating a big tub of Nutella without hands is going to look like someone just diving into a big bowl of liquid poop.
No,
dude, I'm literally gonna get this video, send it to you.
Well, I'm literally.
What was his name again? Nah, you better watch it. It's funny. It's funny.
Wander's like, you gonna watch it and like it, bitch.
You'll take and like to quote that one thing from Uncle Acid.
Do what?
You know in the start of the Uncle Acid Bloodlust album where it's like it's flicking through the channels. You'll take this and like it.
Yeah, you're gonna take this and like it, boy.
It's its most popular video. It's got 2.9 million views.
Like you're gonna take it and like it, boy, and you ain't gonna say shit about it. And that's all I got to say.
There we go. The link's in the private chat, and I'm gonna stick it in the YouTube chat too. The Nutella food challenge, hands free. Joey's world tour. Just skip literally to just literally like a minute in, and it's already just disgusting.
No, just no.
I have the urge to screenshot this because it's so funny. Yeah, dude, Bonk knows exactly who I'm talking about. Joey's World Tour. Yeah, Leafy made him made a video on him like 2-3 years ago now. Years ago even. Dude, oh man, it was so funny.
I just got that picture that I just I just got that picture that Doc sent to me. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna send it to Wanderer in a DM right now.
I was actually about to send it to Wanderer in the DMs.
Okay, go. I'll let you send it then. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a beautiful example of why you should always proofread before you post something.
Well, you just got to try really hard, Sterno.
You got to read between the lines.
I mean,
dude, Sterno, I know how to do this. I possess the power. Just like start listening to typo, and that's how you do it. That's it.
Well, I love the picture you sent me of the Skittles parody. Wanderer.
Oh wait, is this on Discord?
Yeah. All right, check your Discord. I just sent it to you too.
Yeah. Laxative. My mom sent that to me. she was like, "You want some?" I was like, "I'm good." It's a wonder this poor kid can stand up. Tyler Cannon shit. This 8 point. Oh my god, dude. He shot it out.
He's supposed to say he shot the 8-point buck, but instead. So there
on
was
October 9th, 2007, he shit out a deer.
So there was one time in grad school, one of my friends was teaching a music appreciation class, and she passed a sheet of paper around for everyone to sign for the role. And she came into the library, where me and some of the other grad students were, and she said, can y'all take a look at this name and see if it's just me or if there really is something wrong with the way the guy wrote his name? Well, the guy's last name was Shotwell, but the way he did the O made it look like an A.
Shotwell?
Yeah. And so the entire, like all the grad students in the office just, or in the library just lost it. It was so funny, man.
I sent you I sent you some of the stuff that I sent to Widows, as well as an extra video of the guy who got the PlayStation 5. Yeah, hey, we got the fucking got a brand new, baby. It just comes up with Gay Station 5 on the TV.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's it's such a good video.
So are you getting an Xbox or a PS5?
I'm actually going to buy in this and say that I'm actually looking to buy a PC. So I'm moving away from Xbox because I was on the Xbox 360, then I went over to the Xbox One, and my brother went over to the PlayStation. And I don't think my brother's going to get a PlayStation. I am thinking about getting a Nintendo Switch when I've got my PC, but basically the reason I want to move over to PC is because I don't know many of my friends that are going next gen. So it'll be easier just to do a lot of different, things to do with YouTube and also streaming and stuff like that. And also play with my friends if I move over to PC. But obviously crossplay is making that a lot easier now. But yeah, I've just always kind of desired to have a gaming computer, so that's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm saving up for the new PS5, not because I'm a big gamer or anything, because everyone who knows me they all know I'm not a big gamer, but living alone has me going, and also during COVID, I'm going, a lot of my friends play and I haven't been able to see them, and everybody's still social distancing here to some extent. And I'm like, I want to hang out with my buddies. So the best option I have is to get a PS5 and get online and play them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say honestly, both the Xbox Series X and S, they both have like really really good things going for them. Like these are next level. We've never seen consoles this powerful before, and honestly, this ordering like low end, like low to mid tier gaming PC hardware, like this is some top tier shit right here, and they are offering it at such a really good, reasonable price as well that it's almost surreal. Because you wouldn't think that you'd think like a low to mid tier, like a decent gaming PC that can run all like let's use the Series X for an example. You'd think something like that you'd have to pay between 500 and 700 pounds for that, but the Xbox Series X sells for like I think it's 400, and that's such like a big cutoff point like compared to the expectation.
Yeah.
It's fantastic pricing. So I got to give props to Microsoft and Sony there, because not only are they both like affordable to the working man or whatever, but
Well, and
um
see, and I'm probably going to go with the console version of the PS5 just because it has a disc drive in it, and the other one, you have to download everything, and I would rather be able to have it because I also do need a DVD player, and I'm like, okay, well, the PlayStation is going to be the obvious choice in that, and it'll also play Blu-rays and everything, so I don't have to fork out cash for a gaming system and that. Plus, I've got some older games I would like to play again because I have not played a game seriously since the PS2 was out.
holy shit. But if you've got some old games you want to play, I think the PlayStation are very limited in their backwards compatibility, and I'm not quite sure why. Because Xbox have been doing it for decades now. You've able to play, in the 360 days, you were able to play games like Halo 2, just using the same disc on an Xbox 360, but it was only on like a different edition of it, which is one of the ones I. Xbox One, you can go back as far as.
I'll tell you why I think they've limited their playability. Their backwards compatibility is money, because they know you're going to buy those games again. One of the things a lot of people don't realize is video game piracy actually preserved video games. So before we had the internet as big as it was, when you bought a Nintendo and then you got the Super Nintendo and then the Nintendo 64 all came out, and then PlayStation, as you know, with Nintendo, those games were not backwards compatible. So unless you kept your old gaming system, you just didn't play those games again. Well, then when the internet in the early 2000s, we started getting high-speed internet, people were developing emulators to be able to play those old games, and then they were taking the code and uploading it, or taking the game off of the cartridge, so then you could play those games again. And what that actually did is there were a lot of old games that were falling subject and prey to bit corruption. And by putting that code and putting the actual downloadable ROMs online, it actually preserved those games and created this whole wave of nostalgia to where then companies were like, maybe we should resell these games again. So Sony just got ahead of the game on that, or not got ahead of the game, but they've adapted to that game. They've adapted to that game, and what they are doing is they are saying, like, okay, you bought this game before, you're going to want to relive this game that you played when you were in high school or college or even younger. so we're going to repackage it and sell it to you again. And sometimes it's identical. I mean, when you look at what they're doing with Final Fantasy VII, that's like they're releasing it in episodes and they're including more material. But it's like, okay, you play this level, you play this chunk of it. And it's kind of pissed people off that they're doing it that way. But
Yeah.
because people want the whole game. And one of my big problems, I think one of the reasons why I've held off on getting a gaming system for so long has been just kind of as my own little protest, which doesn't do jack squat to those gaming companies, but those consoles. But what they do is they release a game, and then you have to pay extra for the downloadable content, or you don't get to play the fullness of the game. Whereas, up to about PlayStation 2, once you bought the game, you bought the whole game. And the other problem that I have is it doesn't load the game from a disc. You have to download the game, but no longer can you can't take that game and your memory card to a friend's house and load it up and play it from there. It's like you have to register the game now. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I suppose a pro of that though is that it makes it so much easier to roll out post launch updates and content. Nowadays, it's essential basically that you have some form of DLC or microtransaction in your game to keep your kind of your game community, the customers, basically alive and keep coming back to your game. Otherwise, it's just going to be dead water straight after release. You've got to keep on kind of feeding the machine basically.
Yeah, I hear that, but how many games have been released with bugs and then they have to do a patch? Like a lot of this stuff is forcing games to be released well before they're ready. And companies are like, well, we'll just release a patch. It's making developers lazy. And the game companies are only seeing profits. And especially during COVID, while we've all been under lockdowns, their profits have soared. I mean, now is a really good time to invest in those companies. And actually, the best time to have invested in them was right before the lockdowns happened, like back in January. Because I don't know how some of these companies will have things broken up to where, you can own stock in this company that they technically own, but they own like 60% of all the stock, and the other 40% is for other investors to get involved in. Because their stock prices have soared since March.
Oh, definitely. I think this year alone was the highest percentage of people playing games or watching streams using like social media sites I suppose social media isn't really the correct terminology, but like sites like YouTube and Twitch, viewership and like user bases have absolutely soared this year alone, which is absolutely like it's fantastic for them, but it's bizarre as well because they were on the climb definitely, but I feel like the virus and the impact the pandemic has had, it's positively affected some places, whereas it's overall been a very negative situation for most of the world, if not all of the world, really.
Yeah,
so it's quite surreal.
Yeah, and I've got friends who have worked in the entertainment industry, and like it's really weird. It's games and streaming are the two aspects of the entertainment industry that have benefited from COVID. All the other aspects of it have really been affected. In fact, there's a section in the town where I live that they call the Rock Block, where they have venues and some legendary pizza restaurants. Two of the pizza restaurants that are legendary, and one of them is the only one that actually serves Chicago-style pizza in town, has not reopened since the pandemic. A developer just bought that, and they bought up one of the classic venues in town where people go to. That's like one of the venues that's really small, and it's kind of a dive bar feel, but it's kind of like if you're not big enough for the venue across the street, which is much larger, and they do get pretty substantial sized bands and always sell out, that smaller venue, you're like, we've lost another venue in this town as a result of the pandemic and being sold to a developer. and that developer is going to put either like this bougie restaurant, or they're going to put some really stupid high rises in this area where high rises do not need to exist.
Yeah.
Well, ain't that
I
shit?
suppose with our like the restaurant I work at, we're kind of in like a 50-50 situation. We opened back in August again, just as the case low again, and things was starting to look a little bit better. But then cases soared in the UK, and recently I've been furloughed again, because we're going back into lockdown. Well, it's like a pseudo lockdown basically. I'm still going to college. I'm still seeing a bunch of people, but I basically can't leave my house if it's not essential. I have to say, if I wanted to see my girlfriend, I have to take Bobby with me. Otherwise, it's going to be non-essential.
Damn.
But we have a slight reprise in the fact that the company owns a deli which basically sells like bread, cheese, wine, stuff like that. Right around the corner from where the restaurant is. So we are still benefiting from that, and it means that the restaurant has a very, very low chance of like shutting down or anything bad happening to any of the workers. But it just means that we're all going to be out of work until the near future.
Yeah, and my concern with the lockdowns, they've when you look at how Sweden did things, I'm not too certain on the numbers. So somebody who is from Sweden or more familiar, feel free to correct me where I'm wrong in the chat.
You're wrong.
Okay, thank you, Donald.
Hey, hey,
Wrong.
hey, you you shut your lips. You keep your mouth quiet.
But with Sweden, what I think they did, where they just said, okay, if you're vulnerable or you have a pre-existing condition, you're pregnant, or you've had surgery, then you're the one who stays quarantined. The rest of us, we're going out. And yeah, their spikes were huge at the beginning of this, and they did have a much higher mortality rate. But it was like their economy didn't suffer, and then once it was over for them, it was over for the most part. Now, granted, this is an RNA virus, so it's not going to be like other past pandemics like the Spanish flu, where if this were the Spanish flu, that would have been like the most optimal one, because they're already trucking along just fine. But
well, hey man, you got to keep on trucking.
But with
it's like the Grateful Dead said, man, trucking down to New Orleans.
But one thing I think gets overlooked, because a lot of people absolutely hate Donald Trump, and I think sometimes when you hate someone as intensely as many people do with him, they will ignore where he is correct, and they're just looking for where he is wrong. But I think one of the cautions he was very correct on was we have to make sure that the remedy is not worse, that the medicine is not worse than the cure, or that the cure is not worse than the disease. And what we've seen is when Europe went under a lockdown, they had that steep drop off. They got 0 cases. New Zealand had 0 cases at one point, and Australia did too. But now we're starting to see a much higher spike, much faster. And, people were still being just as cautious as they were before, and probably more so before the first wave. And now Europe is experiencing its own second wave, and the second wave in China is already making pigs vomit. And it's really weird. So the problem with an RNA virus, especially coronavirus, is there already aren't vaccines for any other known coronavirus. And with it being RNA, it will change. It will mutate much faster than a DNA strain like the Spanish flu. And so it's definitely a different pandemic. It's definitely weird from what I've seen. And I'm not claiming to be an expert on this, but I don't know. It seems like I'm really fearful that with people being furloughed again, the lockdown's going into place. It's going to massively strain the system so much, and you're going to see more people suffering, more people starving, and much greater need of assistance for people. I'm really beginning to wonder if the second wave of lockdowns will actually be the cure that is worse than the actual disease. And I don't have the answer, and I'm not a medical expert. I don't have the data in front of me. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. But that is something I think we should all be wary of a little bit. To go, okay, which is worse, the disease or the cure?
Right. Sorry about that. I had to step away for just a minute. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to give Wanderer his time for his review. He has a pretty big homework assignment this week.
All right,
So,
I got to check on my souffle anyway, so that's perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, Wanderer, if you will, do us the pleasure of giving us your review for the week.
Okay, so today I have the records Misfits, American Psycho, Core by Stone Temple Pilots, and Rain and Blood by Slayer. So I'm going to start off with Misfits.
Did you finish Injustice for All?
I think I did. Yes, I didn't write down any notes, but let me just open up the Spotify page for Metallica, because I remember which song I'm gonna like.
So my favorite member of Metallica ever was Dave Mustaine.
Sure. I feel like it was To Live Is To Die. That might have been one of the better tracks in my opinion, but I remember listening to this. It was damn good, and I stick by what I rated last week, which I believe was around an 8.5. So
all right. Well, let's get into your new ones then.
So with it's basically I felt like there were so many different tracks, and they were all in such a short span of time that I kind of summed them all up in a short little kind of paragraph thing. So I felt like it was kind of wrong of me to pick and choose which songs out of the album were better than others, because not only were they in like a lot like shorter than I was expecting, but it fit together like one continuous song to me. It all felt like, you know, a big kind of continuous thing. Like it was very hard to me to write down notes and try to do work at the same time, and also try to rank which song was better than the other, because not only did they sound like very similar, but also that it just sounded fantastic. Every single song in this I absolutely adored. The guitar and the drums were like it felt like kind of vintage in a way, because there was something about the way the album sounded through my headphones that sounded, a little bit more kind of old, a little bit dated, but yet it sounded great. That's what I mean by the vintage. Vocals were pretty damn good as well, and usually I go into these like, not expecting much from the vocals, but expecting a fuck ton from like the guitar and the drums. Vocals pretty surprisingly pretty damn good. It's safe to say I was indeed pleasantly surprised by this album. So what I've went with for Misfits is an 8.5 out of 10, because it wasn't my favorite, but at the same time it was still really damn good, and I really enjoyed this, and I do hope that I do get to listen to some Misfits in the future again. So, moving on, Stone Temple Pilots. This is one that I kind of had a tough time kind of formulating an opinion over. It took me quite a while. I only kind of finished my notes today. So we'll start off with the opening track, which is Dead and Bloated. I wasn't. It's kind of like, for me, Stone Temple Pilots are kind of the same way I felt about Remo Drive when I first started listening to them. I really wasn't very particularly interested in the vocals until the album kept going. That was where it sits, at least, and I felt the exact same situation was going on here. It was a pretty damn good opening, Dead and Bloated. I really, really enjoyed the instruments, which is something I tend to enjoy with these types of albums. So then the next song is Sex Type Thing. This song had great guitar. I really, really enjoyed the chorus, and well, I believe it's like sounds like it could be a chorus, and that was probably the highlight of the song, which really kind of took it home to me. And I do believe that Sex Type Thing, and I really like a good batch of these songs going in, especially with Misfits. Well, so that's a good sign. Wicked Garden, I actually really, really enjoyed this song. I was blown away by Wicked Garden. To the point where like I didn't really know what to say, for the vocals, for the guitar, for whatever really. I fucking love this song, and it was really, really good. So No Memory, this was kind of a bit of a weird one because I wasn't expecting No Memory to be the way it was. It's a somewhat peaceful break in between Wicked Garden and Sin, and it has like a wavy, somewhat kind of beautiful feel to it, and I really, really dig it. It's such a really good track, but it feels almost oddly out of place for the type of kind of style they were going for in the first 2-3 songs. So then we have Sin, which is another fantastic track in my opinion. Especially the song gets to the chorus. The chorus blew me away. Naked Sunday was the one of that. I wasn't really too fussed about this track, let's be honest. It's not that it was bad, but I just wasn't really bothered by Naked Sunday, really. After that, we have Creep. The acoustic in the beginning of the song is just fantastic. I like it when songs kind of open up. As you probably, if you've been watching the Sanctum for a while, I was a big fan of the way that Paul Bearer opened up Sorrow and Extinction with that kind of, on Foreigner, the acoustic guitar in the beginning. It very, very peaceful. And as the song progresses, it just gets so much like better. And it's hard to explain how it gets better, but it was just a phenomenal track. So I really enjoyed so far quite a lot of these, actually. I enjoyed Sin, Memory, Sex Type Thing, Dead and Bloated. Then we get A Piece of Pie. I couldn't really get into this one. I really couldn't. And I'm not quite sure why. I don't think I was really feeling it. Some of them have a Plush. I thought Plush was a pretty jamming track. It was pretty damn good. And then it's followed by, I think this is meant to be some sort of interlude similar to No Memory, which is Wet My Bed. And I'm pretty sure it's literally just a song about somebody pissing their pants. It's so good. I love this song with a passion. This isn't like, Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills. This is like this is the good ending. This is the good ending of a Good Friends with a Bottle of Pills.
Hey, everybody. Where did Mary go?
Where'd Mary go?
And where's my only cigarette?
And then the last two I wasn't really feeling. I'm not gonna lie. The last two songs on the album, which is odd for me because I'm usually a big fan of the outros to albums. Yeah, I wasn't really too much of a fan of Cracker Man and Where the River Goes.
Oh,
but
Where the
overall,
River Goes, amazing.
I honestly I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. It's, I don't know what about it either. It sounded like I should enjoy it. I was like, well, come on, why are you not liking this? It's just something didn't click with me, Whereas with a lot of the songs on this, a lot of them clicked, but some of them didn't really. So I've gave Stone Temple, I have gave them an 8 out of 10 because I didn't feel it was, the Misfits really nailed it on the vocals. Stone Temple Pilots, they were almost. If the vocals were a little bit, a little bit more attuned, then maybe they would get an 8.5 or maybe even a 9 as well. But Yeah, Stone Temple Pilots, pretty damn good, and I'm hoping to hear more of them as we progress.
Mhm.
So then we have a Slayer, which I listened to their record Rain and Blood, and you're probably going to be a little bit disappointed about what I have to say about this because I don't feel like Slayer is for me. I really don't. I feel like
I'm already
it's
disappointed.
it's because well it's definitely, I wouldn't compare it to Pork Soda, but it wasn't, it wasn't like I'm not that level of like, this isn't for me, but it's just like, I don't feel like this is really attuned to my tastes. But I don't like it's really it's kind of too loud, too fast, too kind of, really kind of hard, I guess you could say. Um they're pretty good. I will give them the skill that the most get into, like, playing songs, especially with the drums, especially with the guitar. A lot of that must take a lot of like practice and probably decades of practice and effort to make a song like that, and it takes a lot of talent. But talent just really doesn't click. Um, yeah, like honestly, I've been playing my guitar recently, and my pinky from literally doing it was on the E and the A string, basically using my pinky and my index finger. And I never used to be able to do that because my hands was too small. But doing that now, it's killed the side of my pinky. So I can't imagine what these dudes feel. But I can give Rain and Blood that the guitar solos on this were really, really fucking good. So
What did you think about the actual song?
the actual song Rain and Blood,
Yeah.
well, I haven't got any notes down for it per se. How I listened to the whole thing, and that basically just kind of sums up how I feel about the entire thing, really. I'm gonna be honest. That sums up nearly every single song, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, I've given it a 7 out of 10. Mainly because, it's just not really my style. Not that it's bad or anything. This is why I gave it a 7. If I thought it was like abysmal, I would have gave it a 3, a 4. But I've been kind and recognized that there's talent and, effort that goes into this, but it's just not. So I'm gonna have to rate it.
All right. Well, um, Doc, do you have anything to say about the Slayer review?
No, no. I mean, uh, Rain and Blood is for me one of the. It's obviously like one of the big cornerstone albums that they have, but it's up there in my top albums of theirs, but it's not the top album. I think God Hates Us All would have to be my top album for them. That and Seasons in the Abyss are my top 2 Slayer albums.
I mean, God Hates Us All is just a great album title.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was talking to a priest about that interview that Tom Araya had, where I was like, he's a devout Catholic, and and in the interview they were like, he was like, God doesn't hate, but it's a pretty cool album title, and the priest said, actually, it is a pretty cool album title.
All right. Well, now what we're gonna be changed now. Now, as we've said before, now starting in the new year, we're going to be doing the music reviews a little bit different. Where each one of us is going to pick out an album, and we're going to just kind of like each of us will pick an album, and like we'll all listen to those records, and then we'll come back and we'll have a little back and forth about them. But what we're going to do with, and we're going to start doing that in 2021. But what we're going to do with Wanderers reviews, we're going to sync them down just a little bit, and we're going to start doing 2 albums instead of like 3 or 4. So, Wanderer, I've gone ahead and sent you your next homework assignment. If you want to announce that.
All right, I'll just open up my Discord again. Oh, shit. Damn. All right, so Marilyn Manson, Portrait of an American Family. I have never listened to Marilyn Manson, but I know he's a big name. I know he's a big player. So I'm really,
Yeah, he does a lot of
interested
TikTok.
to listen to that. Yeah, I'm interested to listen to that.
That the Portrait of an American Family was his first full-length record when he got signed.
Yeah, it's the most
94.
popular album of that era, of that year. I mean, just to see him on stage dancing and prancing around like Britney Spears, it was really weird.
Shut up.
And then the second one is Rollins Band, Waits. Now, I've never heard of Rollins Band. Could you fill me in?
Rollins Band is the band that Henry Rollins put together after he left Black Flag.
All right. Well, they're the 2 albums, and depending on when the next show is, I'll give these a listen, and then
I figured
I'll take into the next.
Well, I figured since I know Doc will have to work Tuesday, you and I would do the show Tuesday since it would be at normal time, and then the show on the 28th is when all 3 of us would be back together.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good. I mean, I could do it next Tuesday unless Doc wants to,
Well, I was talking about
the 28th, obviously.
Well, I was talking about this coming Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I can
because Doc will be working, when it goes on at the normal time, and then I know by the time he would get done with work, you would already have you would be in bed because you got school the next day. So,
well, I mean, with Wednesdays, it's a bit funny for me because I explained on my stream earlier this week. Basically, Wednesday I only need to go in from 10:45 in the morning until 12:15, and the reason is because I've got to do my maths class, and that's the only thing I'm in for that. So Tuesday night's a pretty damn solid thing for me, and I'd say even Wednesday night would be great because I'm not in college the next day until probably around 1:15 morning. I look after Bobby, so I'd be taking him out on walks, I'd be feeding him, shit like that, just making sure he's all right.
Well, I mean, I'm Monday and Tuesday is when I'm off next week. So, and Doc doesn't get done with work until like 5 or 5:30, which makes it like almost midnight over there. So,
yeah, I definitely even if even if I was off college like the next day or something, I probably wouldn't be able to do that because my brother still goes to school, and obviously my parents work quite early in the morning. Like one of them's up at like 5, the other one's at 7. So yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to come in like a midnight show, sadly.
Well, you and I will take care of Tuesday, and then the 28th we'll all be back together. So
yeah.
But no, the Rollins Band is definitely got some good drive to it and everything like that. And if you're not sure who I would recommend looking into Henry Rollins because Henry Rollins is a pretty cool dude, and I've been a big fan of his for years. He, you know, I mean, and this isn't just a guy who just has done music in his career. I mean, he was in Black Flag, and his first band was a band called DOA. No, I don't think it was DOA. I think it was SOA. And then when he left Black Flag, he put the Rollins band together. The man writes books. He's got a bunch of books out, and I mean, he's a great writer. He's he's been in movies and just, you know, all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's definitely like he's definitely a Renaissance man, you know. So I highly recommend, you know, anyone you know, checking out Mr. Rollins.
I'm excited to listen to him because I've never really heard of them before. So,
but so what's everyone's plans for Thanksgiving this year?
no, we don't celebrate it over here. So this is a question for Doc, really.
Yeah, I'm flying back to our hometown to be with my family and, you know, hang out with my nieces. And then the following Tuesday is my birthday. So
we'll have to squeeze in a show for that. Give me just a second.
all right.
Yeah, man, Doc birthday stream. I will bring the gift of like my presents.
Oh, that would be awesome, man. Because I don't know what I'm probably not going to do anything for it. Because one year for my birthday, I had a party, and it was a costume party, and everybody showed up dressed up as glam metal artists, and that was fun.
Man.
That was fun.
I don't think I had to skip my birthday party this year. Like I was just gonna do my usual, because like my your traditional Wanderer birthday is have the boys around, get some like soda and shit like that, as you Americans would call it. Get some snacks like Doritos, some dips, get pizzas, ordering pizza, KFC, McDonald's, whatever, and just watch some movies or like play some games or listen to music or like just go out in the street and cause fucking chaos. Like that's like what my standard like New Year's Eve party or like birthday party. And I didn't get to do it this year because on the day I wanted to do it, my mom came down sick. And then we wanted to rearrange it, but we didn't find time. And then the lockdown hit. And I was like, shit, I missed my chance. So next time, I don't even think I'm probably going to get a birthday party in February this year or next year even. But yeah, it's probably going to be like a double, triple birthday party next party.
Man, that would be awesome. That
have a gargantuan party.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like, I mean, everything's pretty much been shut down.
All right, I'm back.
And nothing is back to where it was normal. So I think what I might be doing on my birthday, because like my dojo has been closed down for a couple of weeks because 2 people had tested positive. So we've gone to online classes. And so it's just like, damn. I mean, so I'm trying to think of something like other, you know, in conjunction with the show that I could do for my birthday. And I mean, my rent is due on the 1st. So it's like, happy birthday, now pay your rent. So
pay the bills.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. So hopefully by then, though, I will have lost enough weight to where I can go into the go talk to the recruiter with the Air National Guard.
Hey, Doc, Rage has a question for you.
All right, what's that?
It's up right now. Look at it.
Did you find your hat on the backstage on Jeopardy? Yes, I did. And I did get to pay tribute to the late Alex Trebek and thank him for many years of humor. And
Hat law.
Did you ever get your giant foam cowboy hat?
Not yet. I have been forgetting to get it.
Like, is it in? Like, I thought you had ordered one.
I was going to, and then I forgot to until just now.
I'm actually ordering. Speaking of ordering shit, I'm ordering my PC pod soon, so Zabrak can stop hassling me to play Minecraft Cover Edition.
Oh, so you'll appreciate this one. One of the things that I'm doing here, I've got at my new place, I have AT&T fiber, so I've got gigabit internet. And what I'm doing,
Oh, sweet.
So what I'm going to do is I'm about to buy a rack unit server case, build my own server with hot swappable drives on it, and just set up some server here for storage.
Holy shit.
For the person. Plus, well, what I'm going to do is I've got friends who do things like, film and music, and they need offsite storage. So I'm like, well, if they need offsite backup, I could easily set something up and charge them a couple, like $10 a month to store it. And if I got 7 of them, or if I got 10 of them, that would more than pay for my internet bill.
I feel like it's a fair price, like between $8 to $10, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're giving them a hand that is when it, something rather costly, something rather, big, I guess you could say. Then it's you got to expect this. It's a fair chargeback. It's not going to be like one of those memes where you're giving it out for free for us, and it's like, oh shit, this will be terrible for the economy.
Yeah, I feel like if I charge them like $10 a month, and I have it set up maybe in a RAID array, and then I could swap out the hard drives as I would, as they would begin to fill up, and I don't know. I think it'd be a really cool thing to do and to set up.
Just be careful renting space to people.
Oh yeah, that's why you have legal agreements, stuff saying I am not responsible for anything on it, because and that's why it would only be with people I knew. Like I would be like, look, if you're storing anything illegal, and they do a raid, I'm going to cooperate with the police and be like, oh yeah, here's everything you need to know. Here are all the drives their stuff is stored on. We have an agreement that I am not responsible for any of this. Because, think about how much illegal crap is stored on Google's servers.
Oh, Christ. That'll be quite a lot of shit. I think, honestly, there's probably, like, illegal shit on Twitter as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
Twitter's a cesspool.
Well, Twitter has people have been able to go look up porn on Twitter. Now, suddenly Twitter's going to get a lot of traffic from this audience, but but no, people have been able to do that, and you've also got some what is it? Yeah, Reddit is full of it too.
Oh, Reddit's terrible. I stay away from like Reddit and like trying to.
Yeah, Reddit. It's like they've got. Like they've actually had cases of, even on Twitter, of like underage stuff going on there, and it's just like, damn.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I mean it's like some of that stuff they've been busted for, and it's not that the people with Reddit. So the way the law works is that they act as a platform, so they are not responsible for the content.
Yeah, they're not liable for anything posted on there.
Yeah, so. What a lot of people don't realize is that they are that the users themselves are the ones responsible for the content, and I don't know, man. Like for me, I'm just like, I'm with you on that one, dude. I'll stay away from.
I've never really spent any time on Reddit, to be honest with you.
well,
Don't go near there.
Any Reddit thread that is like uploading pictures, I stay away from. There are some Reddit threads I'll go into and read up on, like some ones on scientific discoveries, or you've got people who are dealing with narcissistic family members, which I've got experience with. They're seeking help from a community. Those are the type of ones I'll get in on and chime in and be like, okay, well, here's what worked in my case on stuff like that. Or if there have been a lot of help that I've received, because I've already mentioned I'm wanting to get into the Air National Guard here, and one of the concerns is I have a metal plate and 5 screws in my ankle, and I had to get medically cleared for that by a civilian doctor. So that posed a lot of questions for me. And one of the things, if I had to pick a job that I really want to do first and foremost, I honestly would want to do special operations. The idea of parachuting behind enemy lines and doing reconnaissance and getting information, relaying it back, that just sounds like the coolest thing possible. Well, it turns out with my metal plate and 5 screws, doing airborne is basically out of the question, because that makes me a higher liability risk.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so what are the other options? Now, granted, if I get in and I prove to them how well I'm able to hold up, that might cause them to make an exception, because it's not like you're jumping into it every day. But one of the things is they have something that's called halo jumps. Like, everybody's heard of that. And what that stands for is high altitude, low opening. So you jump out of the plane way above radar, and you parachute, or you dive and open your parachute well below where the radar is. So, hence, high altitude, low opening, so they don't see you. Well, when you do that, you land, you're coming in pretty fast. And that's where it is a risk for my ankles, or for my ankle.
We're being joined by Whisper right now. Whisper decided that she wanted to be a part of the show.
Okay, cool.
I mean, but it's funny because Bobby last week came in and said hello, but he hasn't been near me today. I think he's been on a massive walk at the beach, and he's probably very tired and sleeping downstairs with my parents, because he gets very tired, and also he'll probably want that food. So
how old is he?
He's 2 years old in June, so he's around a year and a half now.
Oh, it's so funny.
Damn it, Bobby!
Damn it, Bobby!
You and I need to connect on Discord, because I do have some questions about building a server. I've dealt with Linux. I was a system admin for a while, so I know how to do it from that side. But the actual hardware is what I might need some advice and guidance on.
If you're talking to Rage is in my server, so I could probably hook you up with his details if you need them.
All right, awesome. But yeah, so I had a dream last night I had one of those dreams that I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm so glad that was just a dream. We had a dog. My mom had a dog named Skittles, and she was a miniature schnauzer, sweetest dog, goofiest dog you could imagine. And about a year or two ago, she passed away. And I had a dream that I let her outside, and some dude came by and was trying to steal her, and I'm chasing after the guy, and I'm like, man, if this guy steals my dog, I'm gonna go after him and beat his brains in. And then I woke up and I was relieved that it was just a dream, but then I started really missing Skittles.
Damn, dude.
He was a sweet dog. Oh yeah, one of the
that happened to me with my rabbit, I think, a while ago, because I lost Daisy in 2016, and I do recall having a dream time that she was still alive and somebody did take her, or something bad happened to her, and I felt like it was my fault. And then I woke up and I was like, I miss Daisy now.
Yeah. Sorry, getting more coffee. had to. But no, it's like for me it's a tragedy. For the most tragic thing about owning a pet is their lifespans are so short. But I think because their lifespans are so short and we're aware of that, we pack in as much as we can with them. And they give back as much as they can to us. And, it sucks. Like the day that your pet dies and the days, the weeks, and the months afterwards, they all suck without them. But as you begin to heal, it's like, even at the worst moment, I've never once regretted having a pet. It's, some people are like, I just can't go through that loss again. I'm going, the loss sucks. It does. But if you're afraid of losing something again, all you're really doing is preventing your present from enjoying something now for the heartache that is coming. I mean,
Right.
And that's,
Yeah, you gotta focus on the now. Stop worrying about the past and the future, and that's something I really need to take into account because, recently I basically like my girlfriend and I were having a conversation. She was like, "Oh my god, something went down," and she started this like situation that involved my ex, and this ex I really don't like. I really don't get along with. I've tried my best to forget about it over the last couple of years, mainly because she's just, she treated me really badly, and I think she understands that. But it's just been so hard trying to get her out of my mind and try to get out like the feelings and the emotions that I was dealing with during that time. And something came up between her, someone else, my girlfriend, and it just made me feel so blue, like, and I don't know why. So you gotta, and I think it's because I was dwelling on the past, and you gotta stop dwelling on the past and stop worrying about the future. Just focus on the now. What's gonna make you happy? What's gonna make you, right now, and just stop worrying about the future so much and stuff like that.
Well, you know, I really, I don't know what I'd do without these two, and I don't even want to think about it.
Well,
Bobby, having Bobby come into my life, has changed the way I look on things quite differently. Because my girlfriend, she made me so happy, but not being able to see her through 2020 because of the lockdown, and not being able to see her right now because of the further lockdown that they've imposed onto us, really hasn't done wonders on my mental health. I think this year I've been probably at my lowest point through this year, even lower than when I was getting bullied, even lower than all the breakups. Then Bobby came along and really cheered me up because it felt like, I have like a new friend here. I have somebody that, you know, actually like lives with me, that actually seems to care, that will give me cuddles. And like, me and my girlfriend, we cannot hug, we cannot kiss or anything. We cannot touch each other right now. And yeah, it's just nice having like a presence around the house, someone lively, someone adorable and funny, and as goofy as Bobby is. It's really nice to have him around, and I certainly don't regret getting Bobby, and I don't know what I'd do without him.
oh yeah, like having a pet's like one of those things where it's you don't know. You're like, okay, how did I live without this little creature before? And you're like, I don't know what I would do without him. One of the coolest things during this pandemic that's happened is so many people had to go work from home, and they were like, like I am now, just living alone, and they were just like, what am I going to do? Well, the animal shelters were like, hey, we'll let you foster a pet for, while we can find them a permanent home. So people were going to the animal shelters and picking up these animals to foster. And what happened is so many animals got fostered, they had a waiting list. So like some of these animal shelters no longer had animals at the shelter because, they were like, yeah, you come shelter the animal, we'll give you some food to take, and you just take care of them. And a great number of those turned out to be foster fails. So people were fostering animals and then wound up adopting them.
Right.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing. One of the good things, one of the bright spots that have come out of this pandemic is that that's happened. Another thing I think that has happened is people realize they are starting to realize what matters. And so people are like, okay, it started off people going, oh, I found out I don't need to go out to eat as much. But then people were going, what I miss about eating out is not the food, but the human contact. And so we are starting to reevaluate our lives in much of a way where it's like the human contact is what we value. We realize that gaming with friends is a substitute. We realize that doing Zoom meetings, doing all these things are just a substitute, but we ultimately do need that human contact. But it doesn't apply to work necessarily. What they've done is people are like, I love working from home. I mean, I do. I always knew that I loved working from home, but I love it even more. And I'm going, if we never go back to the office, I will be happy. I would prefer that because we've been way more productive. And so I think there are some good things and some silver linings that we're starting to see from this pandemic. But I think with all the negativity, it makes it that much harder for people to see that. So I would like to carve out this segment and call it Doc's Bright Corner.
Incomprehensible wisdom, as Dumpke would say.
Or Doc's wise words or words of wisdom, because there are things I would like to, if I could tell myself that when I was 17 or 18, I would like to do that.
Call it Doc's words to the wise.
I'm happy with that because like seriously, the one thing. So like with all of this, I'm looking at this, trying to find the good and the bright spot, and I think one of the things that could really help our mental health out the most is if we begin to look for the good, even in the crappiest situation. And sometimes it takes years to be able to see that. Like you have to, at some point, look at the rearview mirrors, go, okay, what kind of lessons did I learn? And one of the things that I learned through all the crap that happened with my family, and at a later date, we'll go into what really happened there. I'll share the details with everyone. But, one of the things I learned is how close my mom, brother, sister, and I got throughout all of this. We are an extremely tight-knit family. That's why, if a young woman I'm dating, says something along the lines of, well, I don't want you to go see your family this weekend. I'm like, well, sorry, you don't make the cut, you're out. Because, it's like these people have been extremely important in my life. And I'm not going to, it's like, you can either come with me, you can stay here, but one thing you're not going to do is try to keep me from them. Because, and this ties into the next word of wisdom I'd like to give to my younger self, therefore to some of you younger guys and gals out there. I know that the person that you're dating or wanting to date may be the hottest thing you've seen. You may have this infatuation with someone. You may be going, but this is the best I'll ever do with someone. No, it's not. There will be others. There are other people. But what you have to do is the people who are in your life right now that are good, that treat you well, are the ones who genuinely care about you. And if you have someone who is trying to put a wedge between you and them, that person does not make the cut. That person is toxic. Like if someone tries to separate me from my family, nope, because my family's not toxic. Now, the toxic members of my family, oh yeah, those people I have totally cut out, and you have to do that. But if you've got people in your life who are not toxic, and then you've got this other person who's coming in trying to separate you from that person is probably a covert narcissist. And they're trying to isolate.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was going to say something along the lines of this when I got the chance. Somebody who tries to separate you from your family, or seeing someone that means a great deal, whether it be a friend, a family member, whatever, usually it's because of personal gain. Usually it's due to narcissism, seeing themselves as more important than them. And half the time, it's not even true. And half the time, you don't even know. And the other people you want to go see are way more important. I will say, though, that my girlfriend, she means a great deal to me. I've never met somebody before as amazing, as caring, as loving as she is. And I'm really, really happy to have met her and to still be with her 1 year later. and she means a great deal to me. And if she didn't want me to do something, usually it's because it's for both of our goods. For example, I wanted to send a shitty text to somebody the other day, and I said it as a joke, but I think she thought I was being serious. But she was like, "Me, you won't do that because I will get very mad, and also that won't be very good for either of us."
Oh yeah, there have been times like I've had to stop myself on Facebook from responding to something because I'm like, man, I want to respond and be a total jerk to this person, but I know if I do that, it doesn't really accomplish anything. Now, there are sometimes you have to speak up and say something, but there are other times you just have to let things slide.
Yeah, just leave things be. Especially if you don't have, like, for example, in the situation that I was gonna, make a snuggy comment to this guy about, I said as a joke. Honestly, I even if I want to do that, I have no say in the situation, and even if I was serious about doing something like that, it would be best just to leave it be. So
That's true.
All right, so that's all the wisdom I have to give out today.
All right.
the wisdom has been shared.
Doc's words to the wise, indeed. Well, guys, it looks like we have hit our time for the week, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to close and lock everything up. But Wanderer and I will be here Tuesday at our normal time, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. The 28th, all three of us will be back together for the show. As many of you have saw in the Discord, the 28th is also it's very surreal day for myself because that is the day that I lost my dad, and it'll be 5 years the 28th of this month, and so we are going to be doing a show on the 28th in complete. It'll be completely dedicated to my dad and his memory, because I do like to think that if he were still here and he actually knew how to use YouTube and everything, that he would actually be tuning in every week. So, do what?
No doubt.
Oh yeah,
I know my girlfriend definitely watches the stream from time to time. Just to mention that.
You still need to get her to come on sometime, man.
Oh, she is so she doesn't want to do that at all. She's so nervous. She says she hates the voice and so I'm like, that's bullshit.
Well, guys, we will see. Wander and I will see you Tuesday, and all three of us will be here for the 28th. And like I said, still working out, getting a very some very big guests in here. So I'm going to wait until we can get all of that nailed down before we make the announcement. But Wander and I, like I said, we will be here Tuesday, and we will definitely go from there. Guys, you got anything you want to say before we wrap up for the week?
Well, as always, enjoyed it, y'all.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna go sleep on my mayonnaise bed or try to learn a strawberry eater on guitar again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. As Peter Seal said on October Rust, I hope it wasn't too disappointing. But yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all we have. I hope it wasn't too disappointing. These are some of the things both myself and the other hippies in my band hate about festivals. So
until next time, take it easy.
Definitely. Well, guys, we once again, Wander and I will see you on Tuesday. We will all be here on the 28th for that show. So be sure to hit like the stream. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, get the notification bell on. We do appreciate all the love and support, and it's always so much fun to be here every week with everybody. So Wander and I will see you on Tuesday, but we are always around, and you can always know how to reach us on Discord and everything. But Wander and I, once again, we will see you on Tuesday. But until then, my friends, as always, peace be with you.